The train did not linger. It exhaled steam like a dying beast, coughed iron into the sky, and then it was gone, dragging its noise, its promise and its mercy down the tracks until the silence returned heavier than before. She stood alone in that silence. The platform boards creaked beneath her boots, though she wasn't moving. A small leather case hung from her hand. It had once been brown. Now it was the color of old dust. No one had come for her. A man in a gray coat, station clerk by the look of him, watched from the doorway, chewing something slow and bitter. "You best step off," he said finally. "Train's gone. Ain't no sense standing there like you're expecting it to come back." She didn't answer. Her eyes followed the horizon where the rails disappeared into heat. "They told me," she said after a long while, her voice thin but steady, "there would be someone waiting." The clerk shrugged. "They tell a lot of things in letters. A wagon rattled somewhere down the street. A dog barked once, then thought better of it. You got a name?" he asked. She hesitated. "Clara." "Clara what?" Another pause. "Just Clara." The man spat into the dirt and disappeared inside. She didn't move. He had been watching her for longer than he intended. From the far end of the street, where the town gave way to scrub and broken fence, the cowboy leaned against a post and kept his eyes shaded beneath the brim of his hat. Elias Rourke had seen plenty of lost souls step off trains. Most didn't last. The town of Red Hollow had a way of grinding people down, slow at first, like wind on stone, then all at once when the cracks showed. He pushed off the post and walked toward her, each step deliberate. He noticed things others didn't. The way her shoulders held, not quite defeated. The careful grip on that worn case. The faint bruising along her wrist, half hidden by her sleeve. When he reached the platform, he didn't step up right away. "Ma'am," he said. She turned, startled. Her eyes were gray, storm gray, tired, but sharp. "Yes?" "You look like you're waiting on something that ain't coming." Her lips pressed together. "I was told I had work here." "By who?" "A man named Fletcher." Elias let out a quiet breath through his nose. "Fletcher's dead." The words landed hard. She blinked once, then again, as if the world had shifted half an inch out of place. "Dead?" she echoed. 2 weeks now. Her grip tightened on the case. That can't be." "It can," he said gently. "Happens often as not out here." She looked past him, toward the town. There was something in her gaze now. Not just fear, but calculation. "What kind of place is this?" she asked. Elias considered the question. "Depends who you ask." "And you?" He met her eyes. Not the kind that keeps promises. By sundown, the town had already made up its mind about her. Women watched from windows, their expressions tight with quiet judgment. Men lingered too long in doorways, weighing her worth in glances. The saloon doors swung open and shut, like the breathing of something alive. Inside, the air was thick with smoke and low voices. Clara sat at the far end of the bar, untouched whiskey in front of her. "I don't drink," she said when the bartender set it down. He shrugged. "You will." A man slid onto the stool beside her, rings on his fingers. Smile too easy. "Well now," he said. "Seems Red Hollow's got itself a new face." She didn't turn. "I'm not looking for company. Ain't about what you're looking for." His hand rested on the bar, close enough to hers to feel like a threat. "It's about what you owe." "I owe nothing," he chuckled. "You stepped into this town alone, miss. That's a kind of debt." Elias stood in the doorway, watching. He'd seen this before. The slow tightening of a trap no one else seemed to notice. The sheriff leaned against the far wall, hat low, doing nothing. That told Elias everything. The man beside Clara reached for her wrist. She pulled back, but not fast enough. "Don't," she said. "Easy now." he murmured. No need to. Elias moved. The sound of his boots on the floor cut through the room like a blade. The man looked up, annoyed. You got business? He asked. Elias didn't answer. He simply took the man's wrist and removed it from Clara's arm, not violently, just firmly, the kind of firmness that left no room for argument. She said no. The man's smile thinned. You always stick your nose where it ain't wanted, Rourke. Only when it smells rot. The sheriff straightened slightly, but still didn't intervene. The room held its breath. Finally, the man pulled his hand back. This ain't over, he said softly. Elias nodded. It rarely is. Outside, the night had settled in. Clara stood. Beneath the weak glow of a lantern, her arms wrapped around herself. You didn't have to do that, she said. Yes, Elias replied. I did. She studied him. Why? He didn't answer right away. The wind carried dust across the street, whispering against wood and stone. I had a wife once, he said finally. Something in his voice made her still. She didn't belong to this place either, thought she could make it better. He looked out toward the dark hills beyond town. It didn't let her. Clara's voice softened. What happened? Elias shook his head once. Same thing that happens to most good things out here. Silence settled between them. Then he turned back to her. You can't stay here. I don't have anywhere else to go. He hesitated. For a long moment, it seemed he might walk away. Instead, he said quietly, I've got a place. Up in the hills. She frowned slightly. Why would you offer that? Elias looked down, then back at her. My twins need a mother like you. The words hung in the air, strange, unexpected, almost fragile. Clara blinked. I don't understand. You don't have to, he said. Just know they ain't had one in a long time. She searched his face for something. Deception, perhaps, or pity. She found neither. Only a tired kind of honesty. And what would you expect in return? She asked. Elias considered that. Stay, he said simply. Help keep them human. The hills were quieter than the town, cleaner too. The cabin stood against a line of pines, weathered but strong. Two small figures waited on the porch. They didn't run to Elias when he approached. They just watched, measuring, cautious. These are mine, he said. Samuel and Ruth. Clara knelt slightly, her voice gentle. Hello. The children didn't answer, but Ruth stepped half a pace closer. That was enough. Days passed. Then, weeks. Clara learned the rhythm of the place. The way morning light spilled through the trees. The way the twins spoke more with silence than words. The way Elias carried his past like something heavy, but familiar. There were no promises between them. Not spoken, but something grew anyway, slow as roots. The men from town came one afternoon. 4 of them, the one with the rings among them. You took what belongs to Red Hollow, he called out. Elias stepped forward, rifle in hand. She ain't property. Everything is, the man said. Out here. Clara stood in the doorway behind him. I'm not going back, she said. The sheriff rode with them this time. That told Elias even more. Then we'll take the place instead, the man said. Lightly, the tension stretched thin. Elias didn't look back at Clara. Get inside, he said. I won't do it. Something in his tone made her obey. The first shot broke the stillness. After that, everything moved too fast and too slow all at once. Dust kicked up. Gunfire cracked through the trees. Elias moved like someone who had nothing left to lose and something new to protect. When it was over, the silence returned again. But it was different this time. He stood alone in the yard, breathing hard. The sheriff lay still in the dirt. The others had run. Clara stepped out slowly. Elias. He didn't answer. For a moment she thought he might fall. Instead he lowered the rifle. It ain't over, he said. No, she replied softly. But neither are we. Winter came early that year. The cabin held warmth. The twins laughed more. And sometimes, in the quiet hours after dusk, Clara would sit beside Elias on the porch, their shoulders nearly touching. Not quite. Not yet, but close. Enough to feel the space between them shrinking. One evening, as snow began to fall, he spoke without looking at her. "You could still leave," he said. She shook her head. "I wasn't rejected at that station," she said quietly. He frowned slightly. "No?" She turned toward him. "I was sent somewhere. I was meant to be." Elias looked at her then. Really looked, and for the first time in a long while, the weight he carried seemed lighter. Not gone, but shared. The wind moved through the trees. The world beyond the hills remained harsh, uncertain, unforgiving, but here there was something else, something stubborn, something alive, and it stayed.